welcome to my channel. My name's Jessica. Thank you so much for tuning in. For today's video, we're going to be doing this look, which is part 2 of what is new and true at the drugstore. If you haven't caught my first video, I will have that link down below, but in it I pretty much explain what this series is going to be about. But in a nutshell, I try out new products from the drugstore and also utilize true products that are true to me, that I have been using, that aren't necessarily new in my routine. But without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get started. But also subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Turn those notification bells on so you get notified every time I upload, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That's 3 times a week. But we're gonna go ahead and get started. Here I am barefaced. For this look, I really wanted to do something a little bit more matte and fresh faced, just because I feel like I like utilizing certain complexion products on my face as well. I actually did a video similar like this one a few videos ago where I utilized a few different products that aren't drugstore. So this is not going to be repetitive on my eyes and how to do that. That's what we're going to do today for what's new and true at the drugstore. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. So for my face, I do want to mention this primer. I had a brain fart for a second. This is the E.L.F. primer in, I want to say it's like a natural perfecting primer. I use it in my last video. I would say this is definitely true. It's not new at the drugstore, but I've really been enjoying it and mixing it even with my other foundations. It really gives a nice layer to the skin that doesn't break apart your makeup and withstands it all day. So I've really been enjoying this. For foundation, we have another true product, and this is the Matte and Poreless Fit Me from Maybelline. I forgot about this foundation. I'm gonna mention what's new in this segment. This is the Revlon PhotoReady Candid. This is a concealer. I was gonna do the concealer and the foundation as part of new. I came across this and remembered I love this so much, and I'm gonna do a matte routine because I wanted to try out how matte the foundation of this one can be. And I'm like, no, let's do something that a lot of people probably already have and love. And I have oily skin, and this combo oily, and this has been working like a dream on me. I used this a lot last year, and it's such a classic, and it is very comparable, if not better, to a lot of higher end foundations. So definitely is a true in this segment. The only thing I don't like about this, that is a lot, is it doesn't have a pump or anything. I mean, it's a drugstore, so you can't really expect it, even though some drugstores do have pumps. But it would be nice if they kind of relaunched it with a pump. Just saying. And going in with the Beauty Blender. The shade is literally perfect on me. And I am usually not a matte foundation type of girl, but this foundation is what really kind of opened me up to trying more matte foundations. Because prior, matte really wasn't my thing because, again, I'm oily, so I tend to find that matte foundations kind of break apart when you start getting oily. Either that or you look dry, which I hate looking. But this one, it doesn't settle into fine lines. I would say it's more of a demi-matte or semi-matte. And as the day goes on and I get oily, it just looks fresh, and it kind of like soaks in my oils to the point where I don't look slick and wet. Like, it really just absorbs everything and makes it look more natural and skin-like, which I appreciate. The shade is so perfect, you can't even tell. By the way, I'm shade, where's the shade at? 238 Rich Tan. Got this little wave sticking out. It's fine. So for the under eye, as mentioned, part of the new, this is the PhotoReady Candid from Revlon. Again, this came out with the concealer, this is a concealer, a foundation, and a powder. And I really wanted to get the powder, but they were out. They had 3 shades, and the shade I would have been, they were done. They had none, so I couldn't get my hands on that. So just a concealer this time around. The one thing that intrigued me about this is that it is a antioxidant concealer with caffeine. Interesting. Antioxidants, it's anti-pollution, anti-blue light, which is pretty new to me. I feel like I've never really heard that in a product in general. high-end or drugstore, which caught my attention. And it is light without sulfates, and other scientific words. No harsh fragrances, oil-free, medium coverage. So it does say medium coverage, which is fine for me. I feel like my favorite concealer is the NARS Creamy Concealer, and that is a medium coverage to buildable. The doe foot is kind of interesting. Like, I thought I would like it, but it's kind of stiff, like just as reference. It's not fluid, it's really stiff. And it has a weird curve to it. I don't get really bothered by applicators or doe foots, but I know some people do, so I'm just throwing that out there, that it does kind of have a weird one, but to each their own. I would say though, my first episode, I was like, I don't want to do, like for example, Ulta, it has all drugstore, and it has other brands that are drugstore adjacent with the pricing. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to keep it drugstore. But when I went to Ulta yesterday to pick up some of these products, I realized that who cares? I'm going to do Ulta because a lot of drugstore adjacent products are cheaper than actual drugstore. For example, this concealer was $9.99 and the ColourPop concealer is $6.50. So even though this is drugstore, the price is a little steep compared to others. I'm just throwing that out there. So I think I'm gonna make this also a drugstore adjacent series. Just wanna let you guys know. Cause I don't know if you remember, if you followed along with my first video. If you haven't watched that, it'll be linked down below and at the end of this video. I mentioned how I don't wanna do Morphe or ColourPop, things that are similar pricing to drugstore or cheaper, because it's not technically sold at like CVS or Rite Aid. I don't know, insert other drugstores here. But there's a lot of Ultas around the US where I'm from, so I feel like if you have an Ulta by you, I'd rather go shop there as opposed to actual drugstore because it's a little cheaper sometimes for those other brands. I want to put another layer to see if this is buildable, but so far it gives a decent coverage. I feel like it is a little light, but considering the shades that they had at my Ulta, I mean, they had every single shade actually, but there is a huge jump from like a really tan one that was more either peachy tanner or too olive in tan. And for me, I either like a more yellow, lighter concealer or a lighter concealer with a kiss of peachiness to it because that helps cancel out dark circles. And there was no in between, so I just ended up with this one. And by the way, this is shade 25 in Creme Brulee. It's not the lightest, but it's definitely not the darkest. But it blends out decently, like it's kind of yellow. Let's see. Yeah, I feel like from there's more coverage from this one. So definitely buildable. I would say from first look, it's not really settling into the fine lines underneath my under eye, and it has a pretty decent coverage. It's giving medium coverage, which is what it promises in the packaging. So it's not false advertising, but I do like the coverage. There is a lot of shades, a lot for lighter complexions and a lot for the deeper complexions, but as far as tones go, there wasn't a lot of offering that I like for my concealer. But definitely shades you can work with. I mean, I made with this and I really like it. So now it's just gonna be a question of, is it gonna last all day? Is it gonna refresh me because it promises the caffeine and the antioxidants? So we'll see how this wears. I put a little bit of the concealer on my eyelid just to kind of act as a base. I'm not gonna put too much eyeshadow on my eyes, but I do want it to be cohesive with the rest of my face. Sorry, I had to stop the camera because I got a phone call and I wasn't doing anything for like 10 minutes. But I did want to mention, even though that was a little bit of tangent, I realized I didn't set my under eye and it hasn't begun creasing, which is a plus already with this foundation, with this concealer. Wow. I am impressed by that because usually if I don't set something, it starts. Maybe because it's like more on the, does it promise natural or anything? No, it just says PhotoReady Candid. So I think it's supposed to be a little bit more on the matte side. So that's a good sign, but we're gonna go ahead and set my under eye anyway. It's nothing exciting, it's not new, but because I use my Maybelline Fit Me, I wanted to use the classic Maybelline Fit Me setting powder. It's what works best for me with this foundation, and I just wanted to see if it works out with the concealer as well. And I have shade 10 in Fair Light. I would say I appreciate how these translucent powders, the Fit Me's, have a vast shade range. They have for lighter complexions, darker complexions, and I really like that. Although I really like just a translucent one-tone setting powder, white, cream, whatever you want to call it. But sometimes I do like things like this when I bake or when I kind of want to like filter over my foundation. But if you haven't tried this already, that is true at the drugstore. I feel like this is a solid powder, and I've heard a lot of good reviews on it, and I personally really like it. So definitely try this out with this combo. And that is what's true. Anyway, setting my under eye. I already feel so matte. Usually when I do my makeup, I really enjoy when I'm doing this and the luminosity, and I already look glowy. That's what I'm used to. So I'm looking right here at my phone's my monitor, and there's like no luminosity. But that's the tutorial I planned today. So this just feels a little bit alien. It's fine though. That's a good sign. At least I'm doing matte. Also, did not set my eyeballs. There's no creasing. I'm very impressed with this concealer actually. Wow. Now I'm gonna put a little bit of powder though. That is very impressive, Revlon. All right, so continuing on with the rest of the complexion, we are gonna use what is new. These are new at the drugstore, I believe. This is by E.L.F. Both of these, this is a primer infused bronzer and the primer infused blush in shade Always Rosy and Forever Sunkissed. These were in the new display unit by Nabella. I'm not sure if you know, but she collabed with E.L.F. and she did a few brushes and a loose highlight. That was sold out at my Ulta, but this was also on that new kiosk. So I'm assuming they're new. I feel like I haven't seen this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the way it was presented to me, I believe it's new. I do want to say the bronzer I used in my last video, the City Bronze, I think it was, yeah, Maybelline. I really liked how it looked. I love how it smells. I feel like it gave me such a nice bronzy, neutral finish to my skin, but I noticed, and I know it's this because nothing else has changed in my routine. You can't really tell on camera, but especially when I'm not wearing makeup, on the perimeters of my face where I apply bronzer, there's little bumpy texture. Like it's not pimples or anything or whiteheads, but it's actual texture on my skin. So I don't know if the formula is too heavy. Maybe it's a fragrance because it does have like this coconutty fragrance. Maybe that irritated my skin. When I started liking it, I started using it a lot. So I slowly have been not using it and it's been going away. So I've come to the conclusion that that is what made me break out, or whatever you want to call it. Unfortunate because I really liked it. But anyway, we're gonna try this one. I would say, even though I like that bronzer, it just isn't it. I wouldn't say that's true, even though it's beautiful, it breaks my heart, but it just didn't work for my skin. Hopefully this is not the case for this bronzer. And I did use it yesterday immediately after I bought it, and I really liked it. It's such a natural but sun-kissed finish. I mean, that's literally what it's called. See, like it just really, it looks very natural. I appreciate a not so warm bronzer, because once it gets too warm, I mean, I sound repetitive, I look like a Oompa Loompa, and I don't enjoy looking like a Oompa Loompa. By the way, this is a Morphe M528. Really good contouring brush, but also softens any kind of contour and helps blend it out because it's pretty much tapered. I'm covering my face. I feel like it looks better like this. It's a tapered brush. I really like it because it fits and hugs my cheekbones. And then I use whatever's left over I'm not like a contour, nose contour kind of gal, but I always just use whatever's left and run that on my nose. See, it just looks very natural and sun-kissed. The name is perfect. With my Morphe M509, we're gonna dig into this blush. I really like the shade of this blush. It is a really rosy, borderline purple-ish. I would say there's a tone of purplishness to it, and I really like that. I feel like I don't have a blush in that tone, so I was really excited to purchase this. It's very rosy. It's pretty pigmented, and I would say these were $4, like $4 or $5, and that's really good. I'm loving this pink monochromatic look I have going on. The finish of this foundation, I'm really liking my complexion right now. It's very soft, it's very matte, and it's not breaking apart. My under eye is still not creasing, and my eyelids are not creasing. So far I'm very impressed with everything I'm putting on. So we're gonna use this on our eyelids as well. So it's gonna be a very natural look to the eyes. We're not gonna do anything crazy at all. I'm gonna grab this blending brush from Morphe. It's erased off, R37. And this is primer infused, so that's why I really wanted to try it on my eyelid to see how that works. And notice I put very little concealer on my eyelid, so I wanted to see if the primer infused kind of prolongs the wear. So we're just putting that on the crease of my eyelid. Very pretty, very natural. I also really wanted to do this natural look for this one because for my next new and true at the drugstore, I wanted to do something more glam, something a lot more festive. And I don't mean like Halloween festive or Christmas festive, just more glam. And even though we are pretty much in the holiday season already, I wanted to do a universal look that really just has you on point everywhere you go this season. So now that we have that shade in our crease, we're gonna go ahead and use the blush on our primary eyelid. And this is a Stilazzi flat dome shader. We're just gonna gather a bunch of the blush and pack it on our lid. I would say that's not coming out as much as the bronzer. Or you can tell, actually, now that I'm looking into my monitor. You can definitely tell that there is pink. You know what these two specific cut, like the look I'm doing right now, what it reminds me of? Duvalines. If you're Latino or Latina, there's that candy, or not, if you know what's good with Mexican candy. It's called the Duvalin, and there's 3 different ways you can get it. It's like chocolate and strawberry, or vanilla strawberry, or vanilla chocolate. Actually, there's a different ways you can get it. Or there's like the Neapolitan version with chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla. But I feel like this is the chocolate and strawberry version. That would be a cute Halloween costume. That can be a look. That may or may not be my Halloween look. A look. A look. And then using the bronzer with this brush as well and sweeping that right underneath my lash line. That's cute. Very monochromatic. I really like monochromatic looks. Very subtle, very simple. So for my eyebrows, gonna bring something that is true, that was actually new in the first episode. This is the E.L.F. Wow Brow. I've been loving this so much. I've actually been using it on its own because sometimes I would go in with a pencil and then a product like this over top. But I've really been into that natural brow lately, and it really pulls through. So this has quickly become what is true at the drugstore. A very natural brush through brow. You can tell in comparison to this brow that this has a little bit more fluff to it. It has more color, and they're brushed together. All right, we're gonna go ahead and finish off the eyes, and we're basically almost done. So for my mascara, shocker, I got a new mascara. It is very hard for me to venture off into mascaras. It's a whole other video when I talk about my eyelashes, but we've come a long way for me to try another one. So this is Maybelline Total Temptation. It is not new. It's been out for a while, but it is new to me. I used it yesterday, but I did really like it. So I'm really excited to finally have a new mascara. So round of applause for me because this is a big deal. Clap for me. Thank you. So we're just gonna use this. The applicator is actually really similar to my other favorite mascara, the L'Oreal Voluminous. That is legit my favorite. And the brush, I feel like it's almost identical. And it also has a scent, which is interesting. I feel like I've never had a mascara with a scent. I can't put my finger on what it is. I want to say it's floral, but also fruity. I have no idea. It really fluffed them up and elongated them for my eyelashes. I don't have the longest eyelashes in the world, but I'm very impressed with what it did. So this is just a really big set for me, you guys. Perfect. I love the strawberry eye we have going on. So all we have left to do is lip and set my face. So this is what is new at the drugstore. I was very excited to try this. This is the Super Stay Ink Crayon. I actually am a huge fan of the Maybelline Super Stay Liquid Lip. I forgot the exact name, but those stay on for such a long time and they're so vibrant and they're not sticky at all. And they have this weird formula to where it dries down. Like at first I'm like, is this a gloss? Is it gonna be sticky? But no, it like dries down completely matte. So I was really excited to try this out. So again, this is what is new. I'm not tugging at all. So it has a very slick formula. And that's the lip, super pretty. I am literally every form of pink right now. This was not planned. Well, the makeup was, but I totally like didn't even have in mind the makeup look I was doing with what I'm wearing. And it just works. Let me tell you, it just works. So to set my face, this is the NYX Matte Finish Setting Spray. Not new, but it is what is true for me at the drugstore. It really holds my makeup into place, but I would say it is more mattifying. I don't know why I did this from the beginning, but I also like to spray my face before any makeup application because I feel like that really helps as well if you're trying to achieve a more matte look. So don't be like me, remember to spray this before you put on your foundation. But that's what I would do if I can start this video all over again. Anyway, this is the entire drugstore look. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And also, this is gonna be a continuous series. I'm always gonna do what's new and true, probably once a month, every other month. I am a little bit more active on my Instagram, so feel free to DM me if you want me to try out any drugstore products or if there's anything new you want me to try out. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at MichelleJessica_ or leave those comments down below. But without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys go. But before you do, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I say this in every single video. If you made it this far, you have one last thing to do, and that is to subscribe and turn those notification bells on so you get notified when I upload the next one. So thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.